Hi everyone. Today we're going to be talking about a product that was brought to my attention. The company is called Resiners, and they reached out to me because they saw some of my YouTube videos doing resin keychains and things. And so this is a product that I didn't think I needed until they reached out. And so what they did was they sent me this little guy right here. It is an air purifier specifically targeted to remove the VOCs in your room. So VOCs are volatile organic compounds, and they're found in like sealants or paints or resin, epoxy, anything with a really harsh chemical smell is that VOC factor. And a lot of the products I use in my YouTube videos have low VOCs, but this guy still targets instantly when I use those. So it kind of made me more aware, and I always try and wear gloves and a respiratory mask when using the resin and epoxy. But having this around also to help purify the air and remove those VOCs makes me feel a lot more safe. And so I wanted to show you how the product is used, and that's going to be coming up in just a second. But I also wanted to tell you that they have amazing dried florals for resin. And so they sent me some of these, and they are just gorgeous. And they have greenery. They have all kinds of different like color packs that you can buy from. Look at how pretty those blues and purples are. And then these pinks, just gorgeous. So definitely look into them. And I'm also excited. They have other products available as well as the purifiers. They have one that actually removes bubbles from your epoxy and resin, which I'm super excited about. So let's go ahead and jump in, and I'll show you how to use this guy. All right, so we are going to unbox this Resiners Pure Air, and it comes actually really easily equipped. Like, it's pretty much just a couple of things and it's put together. It's got a little manual. It tells you everything that you need to know, very easily to read. And when I open this up, it's basically, this is just the power cord here. There's just a couple of things that you have to do. It's all one unit. And so we're going to take that out. And I love how it's a little big, but it's skinny enough to where it's not going to be in your way. You can put it in the room. I usually have it behind me when I'm working, and it actually detects it instantly when I use resin or paint or alcohol, rubbing alcohol. I'll hear it immediately kick on and start working with the high fan. So I love the automatic feature that it has with it. So you see here, I just untwist it, and then it has a cord inside, and that's the filter. And you just take the plastic wrap off the filter, and it does tell you which side needs to face up. It's got it in writing, and I'll show you here in a second. It's kind of faint to see on the camera, but it's very visible once you get it there. And then you basically, here's where it says it right there. It says this side up, facing upward. So then you just set that in the base there, and inside there's a little hole right there where that plug-in to the top goes in. So once you get the plug-in on there, you will click the top back in and turn it like a quarter of a turn to lock it into position. And then all you need to do after that is put the power cord into the hole in the back side, and then you plug it in. Now, what I remember when I first plugged it in is I did have to read in the manual. It does take, I believe, 3 minutes to kind of read the room before you'll get actual figures of your room, like the humidity, the temperature, things like that. So it does have to sit for a few minutes before it'll actually start working for you. And then you plug it in, and then this is where it's going to start kind of gauging the room. And I pushed it on, and then after the 3 minutes was up, I went back and read the percent or the humidity and stuff. So there's all these buttons down here. So you can change it to Fahrenheit or Celsius, which is kind of cool. The next button next to it is the fan speed. And then the middle is the auto, and then it does have a timer. So here is my reading in the room. It's at 0.056. So we are in the green mode, which means we don't have hardly any VOCs in the room at all. It's 69 degrees Fahrenheit and then 40% humidity in the room. So I like that you can control the fan speed if you want, but I love the auto feature. So once you hit the auto feature and you start working, it'll just automatically kick on, and the whole thing will turn red, and it'll tell you, like most of the time when I'm working with, like, you'll see here, this is resin, but I spray some rubbing alcohol and it'll turn red. It goes right up to like 9.999, and then it automatically kicks on the high speed fan, which is awesome. So whenever working with epoxies, resin, paints, sealers, I do advise always wearing your PPE. You want to wear gloves, you want to wear your respiratory mask. See right there, it kicked on. And then, yeah, it's very, very sensitive. So it automatically shows you what the VOCs in the room are, and that it's going to go ahead and remove those as much as possible. So here I am using a sealer, which has very low VOCs in it, like very low, and yet it can detect it. See, it's at 4.504. So it's super sensitive, and I love that. VOCs are volatile organic compounds in the air, and it can just cause a lot of harm. So I thank Resiners for sending this to me, and I would definitely recommend getting something like this if you are in the crafting world and have some painting VOCs or resiners. Definitely people working with jewelry, resin, all that kind of stuff. It is worth the investment. So I'm going to show you a few projects that I did using their dried florals. So I have some resin that I'm pouring halfway full in my molds. And then what I'm going to do is go ahead and put some of those dried florals in to the resin there. And then I'm going to let that sit for 24 hours. And as you can see, as soon as I started working with it, the pure air started detecting those VOCs. So we're going to go in with some of these really pretty florals, just putting it down in some kind of an arrangement. It doesn't matter how you arrange things because all of the colors coordinate in each of these little packets. So my heart is towards the blues and the purples and the greens. So that's what I'm going to be putting into this cross. And then I did one with all of the pinks and then one with all of the whites. And I just love how they turned out. So basically what you do is you set it in there however you want your arrangement, and then you let it sit for 24 hours. Then you come back and pour the rest of the resin over the top. Let it sit for a good 24 to 48 hours before you demold, and then you'll have your beautiful resin products. So here is a final look at those products. Look at how gorgeous those florals are. The resin doesn't defer any of the coloring in them or, you know, the the way they look, and I just absolutely love them. And they have graciously given me a link for you guys to get a discount below. Thanks for listening and take care, y'all. Bye.